Hello, everybody, or hello, you, whoever's there yet.
Hi,
It'll
John. We
be,
got a few. We got a few. Hey, y'all.
hey, look at that. I do see a four on the screen. Great to have a crowd here.
That's
Anything
right.
over three is a crowd having a great time. I'm
Let's
John
do it.
Zidar, in case you don't know, and this is Lily Star, my co-host. How you been, Lily?
I'm doing all right, John. What about you?
Not bad. It's been an interesting week. Let's throw up that news. I am all prepared for it this time, so
Yeah, we had a
boom.
lot going on this week. We had the Fed meeting and all that stuff. It was only a 0.25 rate hike, so
That
the market,
surprised me. That
yeah, and
did
the
surprise me.
and the market just seems just overzealous about it, which is, you know what, ride that wave, ride the wave. That's all I
Oh,
can say.
whatever. I mean, it's better than what we've been dealing with, and that's all we can expect right now is things to get better, just to slowly improve. Is everything going to be righteous in a year? Probably not. But as long as we're getting better and don't have any new crises pop up anywhere, I think we'll do just fine, especially if we start playing the market wisely. We can't play it the same way we played it 2 years ago or even a year ago. It's a whole different game now.
That's right. So just be aware of that. Ride the trends.
Now, a lot of you have probably been noticed. We've had some changes on the show. We've changed what we're doing on Top and Hot, and it's been good. We were looking at stocks literally on the top and hot, the ones running for the day, and anybody could find them. Just put in a penny stock scan, and whatever comes to the top, that's what we were talking about, which is great entertainment, education, and all, but it wasn't giving us a lot of opportunities to make money. So we changed up our format on the show. Now I am doing research, looking at the charts. First, I'm just scanning charts, looking at them one after another, looking for something that has heat, a breakout point coming out of a channel, going over a major SMA, or just a lot of volume. Don't know anything about these companies. It could be warrants attached to SPACs, regular warrants, OTC, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, they all come up. Once I find a warm chart, then I go looking for that lingering news, something that came out a month ago, a filing, a news press that says in early February, we believe we're going to close this deal. Well, here it is, January. Well, it was when I started doing this. So that was a perfect window. So the charts are hot. We got a catalyst that isn't being talked about. It's been forgotten about. That's coming up. And we've been looking at stocks like that. And we've got a lot of good runners, folks. VVPR. We looked at it, I think, on the 25th. It ran
Oh yeah.
150% in about 3 days. It did take a nice dip today, but that's what stocks do. They got to come down sooner or later. So we got 150% on that. Plush, PLSH, that ran for 4 days. Sober, well, everybody knows what's going on with Sober. That's a good value company right there. She's doing her bouncing, but she is climbing. And we just keep finding stocks, not just warrants. And on the warrant side, they're climbing too. They're not breaking loose like, we're hoping to, but that's why we're holding them. Now, I want to say one important thing here about these warrants, because I've been preaching a lot about playing these warrants. I got a strategy and all this sort of stuff. Look, we are looking for huge gains. You turn your back, it may be up to 1,000, 2,000% gains. Who knows? But when you're watching these things, think of this. There's two ways these warrants move. They either surge, going up, 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 filling each one of those huge gaps on the bid ask, or it's a pop, stop, and drop. It'll pop up. Maybe it did go 100, 200%. Look at that ask bid. Is there enough room between the bid and the price that you can make a gain? Don't pass up a gain. If you can make 100, 200% on a pop, which we probably know is going to drop after it stopped, you're going to be able to buy back in and do it again. These things are popping and dropping, and then you'll get a run. Take those gains, folks, over and over again. Don't let them pass you because we're looking for those big runs. A gain is a gain. There is nothing wrong with 100% gain, ever.
Absolutely. You got to change the mentality sometimes.
Yeah, we are looking to make some runs. I've got a strategy out there playing the odds. The more of these warrants you hold, and I'm only putting $50 in, and there's a reason for that. Not only is it cheap and easy, but if you look at the daily volume on these warrants, 4,000, 8,000, you don't want to go buying 20,000 shares when that exceeds the daily volume. you could easily get caught holding more than you got rid of.
That's right.
So you want to stay in the, if you're in a smaller room, you bring smaller toys. If you're outside, you can, swing for the fences. We're in smaller rooms right now. So play according to the rules so that you don't trap yourself. You get yourself $50, $100 at the most. Sell when it's climbing. Don't wait for it to fall. All the surge, all the buyers are when it's climbing. Boy, when it falls, it will fall quick. There are gaps on that spread and ask. So get into a habit with these warrants. Take gains when you see them. If you're there when it runs, you turn your back, you went to get a cup of coffee, you come back, whoa, 3,000% gains. Well, go ahead and take it. Don't be waiting for no 10,000% gains. Don't get greedy. Those are outstanding gains no matter how you measure them. All right, we got through that news. I do have a bunch of these already. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here. I do see that Belmore asked for one of them.
Yep.
That's already on my list, so that's going to help. Hopefully, I cover a few here that are on your list. So let's jump on into this. I'm going to try to be fluid, but I'm not going to stall around. The more I don't talk, the more we can look at. You know what I mean. All right. First one we're going to take a look at is BIEI. She's on the pink tier on the OTC. She's got all her green ticks over here. These tell you how reliable a stock is. The more green ticks, the better. And these two are the starting point. Transfer agent verified and verified profile. She's at about a half a penny right now. Almost got herself 10% gains. So what is it I remember about this company? Matter of fact, I covered this company not too long ago. I do.
Yeah, we even talked about it on a stream together.
They've had a change in operations. They're not Premier Biomedical anymore. They've just changed their name to Nova Graphene Ballistics, and that's what they work with, this graphene material, which are little molecules of hard materials that they stack on each other in a very particular way, which makes it very light and very strong. And they're making things like Kevlar, bulletproof vests for the military, for the police officers, things like that. And they've got a lot of other sort of imaginative products that they're coming up with, not just for protection, but for practical use. So they've got a lot of different things that they're doing with this. They also tell us down here the company's committed to a policy of no convertible debt instruments as to avoid any dilution whatsoever. That's a brilliant thing to hear. You want a company that's putting it on the record. We're not going to dilute. That's something that is killing most companies right now. What else did we have here? Let's check out that share structure. It's always worth a glance. Not happy with that. We got about 1 billion shares in the float, and about 250,000 are owned by the insiders. And we are at the cusp right here, folks. They've got nothing to work with. Authorized shares is 1.1 billion. They've got everything out. It's like your bank account has 10 cents in it. That's all they got in their bank account. And that's a big deal. Normally, when you see the bank account get low, you got to get money in it. And the only way they can do that is either ask for a bigger authorized share count, which doesn't hurt us, or do a reverse split. And they can get those all back in there. And with the price where it is, it's tempting. They've got a business now. They've got products. They would like people to see it who have money. This isn't a price that appeals to a lot of people who have money. Just isn't. And they could pick that up.
What do their financials look like?
Financials. I think they are just starting to come into revenues. I think I read something about that. They've just they started, they got a contract with some sort of money, but they've got nothing on the books right now. Looking at their assets, $3,000. We know it's thousands because you got to put 3 zeros behind any of the numbers here. And a lot of liabilities, 2.2 million in liabilities. So they're a startup company. They're upside down right now. That's to be expected. Normally takes 5 years for the companies to get their assets over their liabilities. So they don't look fantastic, but they've got potential now. Change of operations, hot products, and they are working to make these contracts with the military and civilian authorities. What was the relative volume today? It fell a lot, maybe about 30%, from 35 million down to just under 10 million. You want to take a look at that chart for us, please?
There we go. So we've already covered this one. I think it was last Thursday. We looked at it. Maybe it was around the 26th,
Right.
around this area right here. And all it did was consolidate and held. And then it pushed back up to that upper channel, which is kind of, I mean, it could have fell back down, but it went ahead and took the full breath here. And now you can see it kind of cooling off, right? So with their financials, like let's go back just a little bit. You see what's happened in the last 6 months here. It's a 4-hour chart. I can't figure out why it's being so consistent since October with their financials looking the way they are and the share structure. So, I mean, this one, to be honest, because they are building up, they are starting to try to get these contracts and stuff. It's a prime candidate for a reverse split.
It is. It is.
It really is.
They want to make the price attractive, and they've got to do it, and they can do it, and they're diluted now. They've got no more shares in the authorized share count.
Exactly. So I look for it to come back down to these lower channels. Just keep breathing if it stays in this trend. So it's just be aware if you're going to play it. Be aware of what could happen because of what they're trying to accomplish.
All right. I got to bounce that back. I guess I do. I hate to blind you.
Should I let you know? Back to you, John. Should I do that? Back to you, John.
Yeah. Perfect. Because I can't actually see you. I mean, I can. But...
Gotcha.
All right. This is another company I actually talked about not too long ago, NRSAF. This is a Norwegian airline company that just went into business. Well, they've been in business less than a year. They started selling tickets in April. Had their first flight in June, got all that information off of their first half annual report for 2022. At that point, when you look over here at OTC, they don't give us any numbers, not yet. But you jump into this, they tell us that up to June of 2022. All right, so this is up to June. That is all they made from April to June. They made $3 million right there. Now, the reason that's a big deal is that was the first April, May, June, 2 months at the most, and they made $3 million. Now it's another 6 months. Their next semi-annual report is due. Well, I'm expecting it to be big. I'm expecting them because when you go through this semi-annual report, they cover everything. If you want to know how often they're late, how many flights they're flying a day, they've got all the information in here. They really do. And they've got total liquidity of $105 million at that point. So to me, it looked like business was good. It was continuing. COVID hadn't slowed anything down again. Everything is being lifted. I presume that the company's growing. And the next semi-annual report we get would have a big number on it. So that's why we talked about that. That's what actually drew my attention into this in the very first place. Let's see what else we can pick up on her while we're here. Share structure. It's under 77. They don't have it listed here, but under 77 million. It's not a bad float. Financials, as I said, they haven't got anything listed over here yet. And have they got any disclosures we can take a peek at? Nothing. And news, and we're looking at this because somebody, I think on Google, said their wife is flying on one of the 787s today, and he wanted to know about the company. So it's like, okay, any reason is a good reason. That's no problem. So it looks like, it's business as usual here. They are doing more. They are doing record revenues. Says it right there. We haven't jumped into that, and we haven't gotten any numbers. So we're getting a peek. Like I said, right now we should be getting some numbers, and I don't think they're throwing anything out here. They're just teasing us that when it comes out, it's going to be good. Let's take a look at that chart. I'm expecting it to jump too.
Absolutely. Okay, so from what I can tell, this one came out around September of 2021, and it looked like it came out around $2, and it's done nothing but go straight down to about 19 cents. So I'll get a little bit closer because you can see there's a recent uptrend. So 20-day right here from our low of 19. And it's all the way to about 33, a little bit more than 33 cents. And now it's still staying in the channel. That's a big red bar. So I'd be patient there. Let's get closer. Last 5 days, 5 minutes. So yeah, I want to see it hold in that area, this uptrend that it's in. You don't want it to go any lower, like when you You can take a little, sorry, just give me a minute, little draw in here. From the bottom of this one, start hitting the bottoms of these. And you don't really want to see it go any lower than that. If so, you want to give it some room and let it breathe. But, I mean, it's got potential. I don't know. I mean, the company's obviously making revenues, right, John?
Yeah, that's the whole point right there, is that they're a startup company. First 2 months, they made $3 million. What did they do the next 6 months? That's the question we're looking for.
Gotcha. So the last, since it came out, I'm assuming it was some type of just getting traded on the OTC from 202 all the way. I mean, it's just nothing all the way down. So you have time. Be patient. Watch this one a little bit. That's what I would do.
Yeah, if you see...
I'm sorry. Back to you, John.
Shoot, now I forgot what I was going to say. All right. When I remember, I'll tell you. Let's jump on into that next one. I was asked to take a look at GRLF, Greenleaf Innovations. She is at 0003. Don't see a lot of movement down in the triple zips. She's also pink limited. That means she is late on one or more of their filings. And looking over here, I've already gone through this information, so I'm pretty much aware of what's going on. She is late on the September one, and now she's going to be late on December's as well. So she's going to have 2 of them here that she is late on. They need to get that taken care of. They are a shell company. They don't have any business. They're not making any money. Share structure, outrageous. Oh, God, 5.1 billion. And they've got 6.5 billion that they could put out. They've got most of them out right now.
Sorry, John, you're not sharing your screen. I don't see it.
What?
Sorry, I didn't notice.
See, I wish when you dropped your screen, my screen
it would put yours back up. Yeah.
Yes. So all right, so there you go, folks. Sorry about that, but it was all bad news. You didn't need to see me getting out of bed looking like that. Don't worry about it. So we got most of the shares are already out. They don't have any money coming in because they are a shell company. We don't see anything there. Disclosures. Oh, that's a sad thing to see right there. I'm familiar with what these are. These 1As, these qualifies, these all have to do with putting more shares on the market. Well, yeah, he's not making any money. He's got no business. It costs money to file. They're going to need money for that. I don't see anything in this company. I mean, she's got her transfer agent and verified profile, and that's about the only good thing I can say. I don't want to be mean to it, but they have no deals. They've got nothing going on. They got no money coming in, and I don't see anything here. 8Ks, 6Ks, Form 4s. These are positive filings. They could carry some bad news in them, but none of these carry good news. None of them. So we don't see the company do it. Geez, and these go all the way back to 2004. So this company looks like it just has nothing to offer right now. There's better places for your money, guaranteed. Does the chart look as bad as...
I'll go over it real quick. I hate it. But so what I did is just pull up the 3 here. This is GRLF, correct? Greenleaf?
Yeah, Greenleaf.
Okay. Just making sure I'm looking at the right one. So we had big nothing sandwich back here in March, February of 2020. And then finally, it kind of had a nice, good run, but everything did back then. So it kind of just went away. And it's pretty much back to the very same area. And when you get, that's why I wanted to show you this, because when you get closer, you're going to see the 180. It's just picket fence. There's nothing happening here.
Yeah.
This is your 4-hour chart. So really, and from what John just told you, there's no reason to get excited yet about this company. They've got a lot of work to do, and their share structure is huge. So not much is going to happen. Yeah. But you can keep an eye on it and then do some more research, and maybe they'll start getting things together. Since it's a shell, maybe they start, making a merger or making a deal with an actual company.
Yeah, that's about the only optimism you have with the shell. Is there supposed to be a potential landing spot for somebody who wants to do a deal? But a lot of these shell companies are milking the investors, and we are going to be seeing some new rules coming into effect from the SEC with regard to shell companies, because a lot of investors are being taken by CEOs just milking us like cows. So don't be surprised when something changes big.
Oh, John, I figured out how to add your screen back. Look at there.
Oh, good. Oh, you did. Yeah. All right. You had me all befuddled there. All right. The next one we're going to take a look at, GVSI, Good Vibration Shoes. I was looking at this one a long time ago. Now we're looking at it again, and there just isn't a lot going on. There's a lot of talk that keeps happening around this company, and that's all it is. We just never see anything happen but talk. Let's start off with relative volume. Half of what she normally does, 7 million down to 3 million. And I'm surprised she's getting that, to be totally honest. Share structure, we got 2 billion shares on the market, and they got 7 billion. So they could put another 5 billion shares out there, cut your shareholder value by more than half. Pink Limited, so we've got some late filings here. Late filings? I'm surprised she's on the market. We've got 2022 here, just December's. We don't have anything before that, and I mean nothing before that, all the way to 2016.
Wow.
You cannot have bald spots in there. Even if you're not in business doing anything and you're just on the market, you've still got to fill that gap. There is a lot there that they've got to fill. So I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see grace period show up down here sometime soon, because they're a shell company. They've got nothing going on, and a grace period will give them 15 days to get all their filings caught up, or they'll be throwing off the OTC down to the expert market where no trading is allowed, and they'll sit there until their filings get caught up. So none of that is looking good, and as you're going to expect, there's no money coming in here either.
Yeah.
Was there any filings that we could look at? Nope, nothing since 2021,
Wow.
and I doubt we have any news.
Gotta have something.
Nothing. I even went and looked at that mini micro cap or whatever that one site is that talks about a lot of these sort of stocks. They haven't talked about it in over 2 years. So
Wow.
there is nothing. They talk about any stock that's got anything going on. So again, we're looking at a company that has nothing going on but selling shares and making money for themselves. They can't even keep
Wow.
up their own responsibility to file on time. Who wants to invest their money with a company that can't take care of their own paperwork? Get back in the bathroom and wipe. You want to
Well,
look at that
it
chart?
makes it interesting, John, because what you were just saying, to see this kind of uptrend on it. You see that? This is
What?
it's over the last 6 months. That's why there's got to be something. Because it hit, what was it, 4.049. But coming down from the 001 right here. And that was back in August. We hit that 0.049 in January 17th, somewhere around there.
Unbelievable. What
So
a run for nothing.
It's interesting. I don't know where or what it is or what information's being put out there, but something's definitely going on with this one.
Well, you know, it can be as easy as a tweet saying
Yeah.
it's in the right position and a block order of 100,000 just came in.
Yep.
Boom. Everybody jumps in just because they see a wave. It's time
That's
to
right.
surf.
So careful with this one, you guys. This one is, I think, risky playing that one. So just have a plan if you're going to. There you go. Back to you, John.
All right. Do you know how to pop me back?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Woohoo!
All right. We've got 2 more here. How much time we got? All right. We're doing okay. AMPE, Ampio Pharmaceuticals, currently at about 29 cents, had almost 4% gains on the New York Stock Exchange. Major exchange stock under $1 you have to concern yourself with. You need to go see if there's any filings that says you've been under $1 for too long. Get off of the major exchange. A lot of times they get 6 months warning, and you'll see the deadline. If they don't get it fixed by that deadline, they're gone. You want to be careful investing into a stock that's going to get demoted. It will drop in price. I guarantee it. This has 2 pieces of news to concern ourselves with. They had a reverse split not too long ago. That was in November. And they had a letter to the stockholders, which is where you can normally get caught up. Looking at their share structure, I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's a low float now. It's under 15 million. That's not bad. Financials, what's this company doing in money? We got nothing annually. Quarterly, we got nothing quarterly. So they are making no money right now, which isn't a good thing on the New York Stock Exchange. That's going to hurt shareholder value, which they've got minimum requirements of those on the major exchanges. They have to have so many shareholders. They have to have so many shares. You can't go under 1 million shares. They have to have so much equity, minimum bid price, a minimum market cap. And if they don't cut it, they're out of here for breaking one rule. Let's see what else we got here. Disclosures. This is the important stuff. We got lots of here. Goodness gracious. We got an 8K here. Let's take a quick peek. Filed purpose security exchange. This is a letter. This is actually the letter I wanted to share with you. There's their market cap or their float, 13.8 million shares, just under 15 million. All right, this is where we got our information, was their last news press that came out, a letter to the shareholders. This will catch you up with what they've been doing, what they plan on doing, instead of reading all of them. 2022 was a challenging year for our company. We continue to receive update requests from individual stockholders. In other words, people are complaining. You ain't said nothing to us in a while. What's up? Well, it's all bad news. That's what's up. We have informed the FDA that we have discontinued the development of Ampion and have withdrawn the 3 investigational new drug applications we held. These actions conclude all development efforts on Ampion. Remember the name of the company, Ampio. So if they're not trialing their Ampion drug anymore, where does that leave the company? Maybe a change of operations, look for a new deal, got to do something else. In our last Form 10Q, we disclosed our stockholder litigation and SEC investigation. They're being investigated by the SEC. The fact that these matters are pending is an additional challenge to our strategic alternative process. They're being as kind as they can. They're telling you they got problems. And they don't see any way of getting around them right now, and that's the best they can tell you. And there's not much good news in there, folks. All right. Does the chart look like people think that's good too?
Well, you can definitely see where the reverse split happened. And it was back here in November. And it went ahead, and that got attention. So it went ahead and hit 0.74 cents, but it pretty much has just consolidated ever since then. There's not a whole lot going on here. To be honest, I am shocked to see it holding at around the 28-cent mark right now. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they have other drugs that we're not aware of or whatever, but what John was saying is true. They're telling their shareholders they are struggling. So
now, we didn't mention it. Now, they are making revenues. They're doing about 1.8 million every quarter. But they're shutting down what they've been doing. So I don't know what else there is that they're doing, like Lily said. So definitely
maybe something we don't know.
We're only surfing on the surface. A deep dive isn't what we're here for. So if you're really interested, you got to do more due diligence.
Well, I will say since December, we are in a slight uptrend. You know, it's staying in that area. So for it to hold there, I mean, it's really crazy to see it at 28 cents with all that news. And that their revenues aren't that great either. And there's just a lot going on here. So I'm not too thrilled about it, but you do have, you can draw you some trend lines. You could watch it if you're interested. And just to take a little closer view the last 5 days, you know, it's kind of back and forth. There's a little bit of profit potential, 27 to 32 cents. It's got a little channel here. But, you know, is it worth the risk? Is it worth it's not an OTC stock. It's on the NASDAQ?
Yeah, and as I said, they're going
to have to split again.
Yeah, they may have to split to avoid being kicked off. As I said, jump into the filings. It'll either be in an 8K or a 6K. And all you have to do is open it up and scroll that far, and you'll see notice from the New York Stock Exchange. That's the one you want to read. So,
gotcha. I'm going to add you back to the string. There we go.
Got one left here, and this is actually the one Velmore put up before anybody got here. So it was perfect timing. The last one I had was the first one she had. What a segue. We're a good team, Velmore. All right. AIAD. This is AID advertising. Finished today just over a penny with about 31% gains. On the pink tier current, got transfer agent verified. And isn't that curious? They've got independent directors. One of the only reasons you need independent directors is to uplist. And they didn't uplist from anywhere else to get to the pink. So to have them on the payroll right now gives us a heads up that they don't want to stay on the pink for very long. Where they want to go, I don't know, but they don't want to stay here. Let's take a look at their revenues since this is where we're at. Current revenues, 1.8, 1.6 million. Annual revenues, about 7 million last year. Let's see. what sort of news we got going. I know that they've just had a big change here. Let's see if we see this right there. AI advertising announces implementation of Chat GPT from OpenAI. Folks, I haven't done a deep dive into this, but I'm going to, because just in the last 3 or 4 days, I've seen 3 or 4 companies taking advantage of this Chat GPT from OpenAI. And it's got something to do with helping the way content gets out to people. I don't know what it's about. That's why I got to do a deep dive. But everybody who's taking advantage of this service is running on the charts. Everybody's taking gains. So something is hot about this. Now, I did pull that piece of news up. We got a lot of shares. I thought that was something worth looking at. They got 1 billion shares, and they got about half of them on the market right now, and they're at a penny. Scary price. This is a price where you think about uplisting. And if they have independent directors and they're at a decent price, they're up over a penny, and they've got a lot of shares, they could do a reverse split to make that uplist happen. Now, if they're going to the QB, if they're just going up to the next tier, they're at the right price. 1 penny is all you need to be to make it to the QB. So they wouldn't have to do any reverse split to get there. Let's see if they've got any disclosures here to take advantage of. No, nothing here recently. All right. So that's what they've got going. AIAD is working in advertising, and they're working with that chat, whatever it's called, GQ or whatever, that AI. And right now, every company I've seen take it on board and put it in their news has started to run. So that is a key word. You're going to want to put it into your searches. Just look up who's doing any business with them.
Yeah, it looks like AI is really getting a lot of attention right now. So I went ahead and just looked at it real quick, and hold on, let me go back so I can see it. All right, we're in a slight uptrend. This is just your last 20 days, 1 hour chart, but it's in breakout mode right here. So it broke out at probably around 11 cents, and we're holding around 12.6, it looks like. This line right here is marked for the year, and if you'll notice, these spikes hit right around this because you're going to find resistance there. I'm going to take you back to the year so you can see. You see that right there where it was trying to hold before, and it broke down and it hit its head, hitting its head again. So this 15, 16 cents range is crucial if it's going to continue on any kind of breakout mode right now. So it could come back and visit this area, try to build the momentum around this 12-cent area, 11, 12. And if it holds that and continues on, get some momentum and some volume, it could go ahead and reclaim that and over this line. But that's important. Go back on those charts and revisit and kind of identify those areas. Right now, it's not really, you got a red bar. It's not too safe to play. I mean, you can watch it and see if it's going to bounce. And it could right here on this 100-day. It's already below the 50. The 100-day could hold it up right here around 12 cents or so. And I'll pull your stuff back up, John. Give me just a second.
That's okay. I see we've got quite a lot of questions about warrants. We have one there for you, Lily. There's been quite a few others. I'm going to try to cover this quick here. The difference between PONO and PONOW. PONO is just the ticker for the company, the common stock. The one with the W behind it is your warrant. Any warrant will have a W or a /WS. Occasionally, you'll find an IW, OW, but there's always a W on the end for a warrant. Yes. The stock is going to be a lot higher than the warrants. Warrants are normally penny stocks. You can buy them and sell them just like regular stock. Don't worry about the warrant aspect unless you're curious about warrants. It's not going to affect your trade. You get in, you get out when you want if you're playing them properly. What was another question we had over there about warrants?
Give me a second, John. I'm still looking at the chart.
I tell you what, I'm going to pull this down so I can see what's going on here. We can take a look at NoHo. There was another question I seen about warrants here. Where'd you go? Merger. This one here. How can you guys explain where and how to look for merger SPAC warrants and info? What is a D-SPAC? I'm not quite sure what a D-SPAC is.
I've never heard of a D-SPAC, and I tried to do a little quick search just to see if it was a
there is
thing.
There are a couple pages that will list all the SPACs for you, but that's the difficult way to try to do anything. Some of them may tell you who's involved with deals, how far along they are with deals. That's a great list if you can find that. I find mine by just doing searches on Google. I look up just a SPAC. I would do 3 searches primarily. SPAC. I do it on news on Google, and I set the filter to 1 day to a week. I don't want to look at everything. I just want to see what's happening. Another search is company merger. And the third one is company acquisition. Yep. Those are it. Those are the 3 key searches I do. And I just look for whatever comes up. And I read it and I pull out the information I need. The name of the company of the SPAC and the ticker. The name of the company they're merging with. What they do. What it's worth. And the ticker for the warrant, which you normally can get online. And
if they don't have a merger yet, John, just want to mention this. They don't have a merger yet. They'll show you what area they're interested in, like it's technology or, so you kind of know when you find them, they're still in that unit phase. You kind of know what they're targeting. So then you can decide if you want to play or not, or just take a chance on it.
Now, we
don't have a lot of information in the beginning.
We've been playing warrants in a whole different fashion because there's a lot of SPACs out there who are in the middle of mergers, signing letters of intent, who are also having to extend the deadline because they're about ready to have to shut the doors, close up business, and return all their money to their investors. That's right. You get your money back if a SPAC fails, $10 a share. So while it's up there on the major exchange, it's only worth $10 until they close a deal. That's why we play the warrants, because the warrants are alive. They can move up and down, but the stock doesn't. So until they close a deal, those merger talks, that signing of the letter of intent, that all goes to the warrant. That doesn't mean there's a ton of volume. You'd be surprised how little volume there is, but the gaps, the spreads cause these things to jump 100% from buy to buy. Boom, boom, boom. And if you're there at the right time, paying attention, you can get yourself some good gains. Well, what we've been doing is putting $50 in each. And I am saying if you buy 10 of them, $500, pick your SPACs wisely. Just don't, throw them into a hat. I have seen SPAC warrants running 6 out of 10 when news comes out. It's not to say today or tomorrow, but they pop in a very short amount of time. Well, if you buy 10 and 6 pop, and they're popping 500, 1,000, 2,000% gains, take those gains, go buy some more SPACs. Now, I realize that is a whole different way of trading, but we're playing the odds here. Like, I hate to say it, like gambling, a roulette board. The more you cover, the more odds you have of winning. And if you get a winner for 500 and one of your SPACs fell to $20, well, you've covered your loss. I know it's not the sanest way, but I'm doing it right now. I'm putting my own strategy into play. I've got 9 SPACs. I'm trying to get that round number to 10. Almost got that 10th one today, but I averaged down. Had a stock that was worth $9.31 a share. That's what they said I paid for it. Today's price was 001. They did a reverse split, killed me. So I bought $50 worth of shares and brought my price down to just over a penny. Just over a penny. That cost me $837. For $50, I brought it all back down. So that's why I don't have 10. Okay.
Gotcha. Also, just to let y'all know, since they asked that question, when you have an IPO that's coming out or you've been anticipating, you can also look for the warrant. That's usually on the NASDAQ, but look for the warrant. They usually have one. And you can trade it as well. Doesn't mean it'll do good. Just be careful and have a strategy.
Yeah, there was a SPAC, LCAA, that is doing a merger deal with Lotus, the hot car, Lotus. Yeah. And Lotus is going all electric. The deal is valued at $5.2 billion, and they have chosen to go through a SPAC rather than an IPO. Now, Lotus could have easily come on the market at $50 a share.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
No problem. And you wouldn't have gotten it because it had already been at 110 by the time the market opened. It's coming on at $10. Now, I'm not worried about that $10 share. I'm talking about the warrant. The share can't move in price yet. As soon as this news came out, I posted it about an hour and a half after it came out. The warrant had already jumped from like 50 cents to 75 cents. I don't know where it's at right now, but I don't think it's done. But that's what we're looking at. Stuff like that. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a look at NoHo. See what we got here. NoHo, I do believe, is drink. Is that the name of the company? Doggone it.
I think it is. Or
No, no, Drink, the company, the ticker Drink is the company NoHo.
yeah.
NoHo ticker is Novation Holdings. If I just confused you, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Well, we're on the basement floor here.
Yeah.
0001. Can't get any lower. She doesn't look bad. I mean, she's pink. She's got a verified profile and transfer agent. So she's doing what she's supposed to. You know, she's not a dirty camper. She's just poor. Let's see what we got in shares. Oh my God. Are you
Yeah,
kidding
probably a
me?
lot.
14.5 billion shares.
That's a
No.
lot. I can tell by the chart. It looks awful.
Oh my God. This is going to be a picket fence and a barcode all the way across.
Yep.
Let's see. They got any new news? They had news come out at the end of the year, a year-end update. I can't imagine what they could have said.
They said, we're still here. And that's about it.
They say they launched some technology platform through their subsidiary, Craft Clouds, and they estimate 12% of Americans' income is spent on the market that they're approaching. That's not a very big amount. I don't see anything here to get excited about. I darn sure wasn't excited about the share structure. Financials, I can't imagine they're making any money. Nothing annual, nothing quarterly, no.
Yeah.
And the last hope is our SEC filings. We're looking for activities.
Nothing.
No.
Oh my God.
All they've been doing is filing their financials and hanging around. That's it.
That's bad.
So show us that chart.
I don't like it. It's so gross. All right. So this is just your 4-hour last 6 months. Total picket fence, 0002. We're hitting 0001. I'll show the 3-year just so you can see what happens in a crazy market. It was doing the same thing here until the whole 2020, 2021 thing. And it hit 0038. And that was just all because of everything was running at that time, you guys. That's not the type of, February back in 21. We're not in that kind of market now. And we showed you nothing good on this unless you know something we don't. I see no reason to even look at this one. It's just not good.
I know there are a whole bunch of traders that love those triples, that like to watch technicals. You can see them on Twitter. They're constantly talking about stocks that are ready to run, that have nothing, absolutely nothing going for them except for that setup on the chart. And it rips that day.
Well, yeah, it could.
And it's all about the followers. It's communication. It's not that they're hyping it up. It isn't a good position. They just don't have a catalyst. So they create one. We are the catalyst. We can make this happen, like Game. Game happened because the investors made it happen. It just didn't happen by accident. That was a forced condition. And there are a lot of stocks down here on the floor that run simply because you get people who want to make things happen. I don't know if they like trading or they're bored. Because
they hype it up, they pump it, and it's just and I've even seen them create, I'm not saying they do it, but create fake tweets, fake websites, fake Facebooks. I mean, you don't have to be careful with this. And a lot of people are like, well, hey, John, hey, Lily, if I get in right now, when it goes, I'll be a multimillionaire. The problem is, does it go? Does it ever go? Does it ever get the volume? How long are you holding that? Your money can work for you. So I don't like, unless you absolutely anticipate and there's things happening and moving, that's not a good play to me.
Right. I mean, when you go into a casino, you want a machine that you feel is hot. Do you feel that stock is hot? I mean, do you feel any heat coming off of it? You want something to anticipate, truly count on. The more validation you get, the stronger chances are you're going to make money. There's no need to gamble and hope for home runs by swinging a bat with your eyes closed. It's just, it's not worth it. It really isn't. We work too hard for our money and times are too tight.
All right. Your money can work for you. So let's do that.
SNMP, Evolve Transition at 22 cents, barely off of the ground at about 0.7% gains today. Another penny stock on the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to have to look at filings and make sure she's not in hot water right now. But you can also look at a chart. A chart would tell you if they've been under $1 for 6 months, I guarantee you they're in hot water. They're in hot water. There's no way around it. So if the chart says they're down, Go look at the filings, see the deadline, see when they got to get out of that hot water or get demoted. Shares, well, there's your volume. She's under the radar. Absolutely. 580,000 is her daily. Today she did 447. Not a lot going on, obviously. Share structure, can only guess. It's under 200 million. It could be real low. It could surprise us, but that's about the most I can tell you. Financials. All right, at least they're doing something here. They did 51 million at the end of 2021. That was a while ago. Looking at the quarterly, we may get 2022. Yeah, it's bouncing around. They did 15 million the first quarter, but they only did about 7 million, half as much in the third quarter. Not real sure what the fourth quarter is all about. Disclosures. Well, we had an 8K at the end of the month. Lingering news, maybe? See, that's what you want to see right there, folks. I just scrolled down just a little bit. Entry into material definitive agreement. These are your mergers, your acquisitions. It could be a loan, a promissory guarantee. It could be anything. And it'll be right here in the very first paragraph. Learning how to do DD is the first part of learning how to trade. This is where you get your catalyst. This doesn't look like any deals they're making with any companies. Not that I can see scanning. They're working with some sort of warrants that are being exercised. That's about all I would do, and I would just jump out of here. See if there's anything else. We had another one a month and a half ago. There's your warning. Notice of delisting or failure to satisfy. So that, see how quickly I found that. And let's see here. They'll normally give you a date right there.
What is it?
Advise taking actions, partnership, regain compliance with listings by June 6th. Whoa.
2024. How?
Wow, they got lots of time.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that.
They paid somebody off. I'm kidding. Don't take me up for slander. All right. News. That's the last thing we need to see here. They had news at the very end of the month. Evolve Transition Infrastructure received notice from the New York Stock Exchange regarding continued standard listing. Well, I guess that is their warning. No later than January 5th, so they could appeal it. So that's all we see is that they're in hot water right now because of their price. They are making money. Not quite sure what they're doing. We'd have to do some more due diligence to see what those contracts are about, if there's potential for growth or if they're diminishing. What's going on with it? Outside of that, they are in hot water. They could be brought off of the major exchange. And I assure you, when they do get demoted, the price will fall. So if you're thinking about getting into this stock, consider that before you do. All right, what does the chart look like?
Assume, because you see this little recent uptrend we have, 1 hour chart here. I can only assume that news, because it's not happening until 2024, everybody's like, yay, buy it up. I don't know. So we have some consolidation after that. Has not broken the trend yet. Still in that uptrend. So if it can hold around this level, we could revisit. That blue line goes back to January and its resistance. And that's right at 3 cents, you guys. That's why you saw it hit 0.228 and it's giving it back. It couldn't get over that. So you have a major resistance here if it does start to trend back up. So patience will pay you off here to wait and see what's happening, research that news. And if they are coming off the NASDAQ, even if it's in 2024, it could drop to OTC or something we don't know. So make sure you understand what's happening before you start playing something like this.
I've got a question about psilocybin stocks. Asking our opinion, Lily. What do you think about psilocybin stocks?
For what? I've heard that before.
All right.
Lily, I don't know what that.
LSD. Stocks, companies that are dealing with LSD.
That's why I've heard about it.
Psilocybin, peyote. Honestly, I think it's going to be huge, gigantic business. And I'll tell you why, for one simple reason. It may do good. It may be helping with PTSD. It may help cure problems that we have emotionally, psychologically, because we're getting in touch with ourselves and curing from the inside rather than outside. But here's why I think it's going to be big, because they're molecules. And this is a drug they can sell for big bucks. They sell molecules for
Thank you.
hundreds of dollars. You come in twice a month for $350. We'll give you a few molecules. We'll watch you trip. We'll guide you through your experience
Make
and
sure you're
help you.
safe.
Yeah, and this is why it's going to make money, because it's
There-
very cheap. Look, folks, I could buy 100 micrograms of LSD back in the 80s for $4. It's about $10 now on the street. They're going to be charging hundreds of dollars at these ketamine and LSD therapy places. They've already got one in Jamaica. They got a place over there. They trip while you're going through your healing.
And they're searching for FDA approval on these things now. So, I mean, now that you explain what it was, I've heard that word, John. I apologize.
And
But
the
yes,
fact
I
of the
am
matter is,
familiar.
the FDA is pushing through trials on these
Yes.
psilocybin, ketamine, DMT, all these weird concoctions, even ecstasy now. They are pushing all these drugs through and leaving cannabis behind for the exact reason I just gave you, at least in my opinion. Cannabis is a cheap medication. You can buy it at a dispensary. It's cheap. They want expensive drugs. That's why cannabis won't replace opiates, because opiates make too much money and cannabis ain't going to replace all that that's doing. I'm sorry. It's a crappy philosophy, but that's the way I see it.
And with those types of products, what it does, though, is it helps rewire our brains for traumatic issues and stuff. So it's used in a lot of therapies. I do think there's a spot for it in the market. I do like those stocks or those type of plays.
Yeah.
It could take some time, though. Just remember that FDA and all that's very tricky.
All right. A question here about PLTNW. I do believe that is a SPAC. I think that's a SPAC. PNW.
PLTNW.
Yes. Okay. So this is a SPAC, and this is the warrant to the SPAC. If you take right here, it'll always show you the units, the rights, and the ticker for the company. And you'll see that the SPAC is always going to be near $10 because it can't move. We can bid it up and bid it down, but it's only worth $10. If they go out of business and you bought your shares at $10.14, well, you're only going to get $10. So you normally don't see a lot of activity. You do see it on the warrants. Let's see if they had any news. It seems to me, I was just looking at this one. Plutonium acquisition announces closing initial public offering. That's not it. Nope. A lot of times you will find them in the filings and not in news. Let's see what we got here. Change in registration certificate. Nope. Now, it doesn't have to just be a merger for a warrant to move. If a company's approaching their deadline, they only get 18 to 24 months to cut a deal. If they are going out of business pretty soon, everybody's going to get their money back. Nobody's happy. And the company, the people that put the SPAC together are going to lose money. I guarantee you they're losing money. They're not happy about it. So they can actually spend more money. They've got to invest more money to buy time from us, the investors.
Yeah.
When they put in an extra $2 million for 3 months extension, they divide that into the shares. Comes out to 13 cents a share. That gets thrown onto the stock. So the stock is now worth $10.13. So if they fail, you'll get $10.13, and they lost that $2 million. So when you see an extension approved and they put money down, they've invested more and they're more invested. They now really want to close a deal. You don't throw money at, a garbage pit. So I see that as a stimulator for the warrant as well. Maybe not as big as a merger deal, but the SPAC didn't die, and not dying is a big deal. Other events, previously current acquisition. I don't see anything going on here. I see that they're splitting their units. I wonder why I looked at this in the first place. Or maybe I just saw it on the charts, because every day when I go to my charts, I'm looking at my scans. Any acquisition, any SPAC, and you can normally tell an acquisition because it says acquisition. It says it in the name normally. And I go look them up, every single one. Check the filings, check the news, see if there's anything going on. If there is, I post it at Discord, I post it at Twitter. I share what I find. You guys get all my DD. I don't hold anything back from you. But I don't see anything going on right now except that she's climbing. And there's nothing wrong with that. You will see SPACs jump because there's a big gap. There's normally between the ask and the spread, you could see 100%, the ask and the bid. And somebody will come in and just buy 50 shares. say, oh, Ed, it's only $40. Ain't no big deal. It's only $20. And they don't mind spending 100% more than the price. Boink. So it's not that anything's happening. It's just one buy came in and moved that price. Is that what the chart looks like?
The chart is not very exciting. So just looking at it right there, it's just kind of flat, not really doing anything. The only thing that I saw that looked interesting, and this is just a 5-day, 5-minute chart, very flat. 4 cents to 6. And then today, you see just a very small uptrend, just boop, and that's it. So nothing to be excited about just yet. I'm not seeing anything. That's the last 20 days. Let's go back 180 days, 4 hours. See, it has had movement, but it's that's 65, 64 cents. I don't know what caused that. And that was January 24th.
And that could have been 1 minute. Just boink,
yeah,
boink.
It gave that back so fast. Look how flat and dead it's been since then. So something happened that day, and that was it. So you can keep an eye on it right there. See nothing.
All right, Bill, you're overwhelming me, brother. Multiple tickers at one time. Folks, it's nothing personal, but if you do give me multiple tickers, just to be fair to everybody, I normally just take one. And I normally take the first one you list. So if you really have a preference, put the first one that you want in the front. Nothing personal. I'm just trying to spread the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Bill, you did want to talk a little bit. VVPR, you're welcome on that one. We found that one just looking for warm charts and lingering news behind it. And we got 150% gains out of that before she took the huge dip. That was a big drop today. But, 4 or 5 days of running, who can complain after a dip after that much run? But you would like to take a look at EEGI. Okay. Coming off the expert market. Well, that in itself is a huge, it's probably already happened, right? It did. And you probably see it on the charts too. When these things come off the expert markets, they went down there because they did not keep up with their financial filings. And when they get them caught up, they come out. Maybe it's the management that does it. Maybe it's a custodian that does it. Read the filings. Find out if there's a custodian. Custodian doesn't own the company, but they have as much power as if they did. They get to make all of the decisions for the company. And their purpose is to clean the company up and get it back on the market and find a deal. Get that company making money. That's what they do, and they're motivated. So EEGI, 0005, 25% gains today. Not much of a move at the 000 zone. Oh, God almighty, 7.5 billion shares, 20,000 in the authorized shares. A lot of shares there. I don't like that.
That's like 20 billion. Is that 20 billion?
20 billion.
Is that what that says?
Yeah,
you said 20,000. So I was like, that's.
Did I say 1,000?
Yeah.
My tongue gets those numbers.
Okay.
20 billion with 7.5 billion in the float. Yes, thank you for that.
No, it's okay. Scary.
Any news? No news for a couple years. Any filings? Anything that they're doing? Okay, here's an 8K. Cross your fingers it's something decent. Entry into material definitive agreement. Majority shareholder entered into a stock purchase agreement with Chai Ching Hung. Oh, I did read this not too long ago. He bought the whole company for $250,000, and he's got his own plans. Change of control right there. He's got 100% of the company. It's a shell company. It's come off the expert market. It's cleaned itself up. That's how you get off the expert market. You got to clean your room before you're allowed to go outside and play. It's all cleaned up now. And it's got a new order, Chai Ching Chung. You can do some research. Nothing's going on now except somebody else is taking over who's got his own dreams. He's got his own plans. You need to find out what they are to figure out how much potential this company has. And that's really all this company has got going for it. Did the chart show anything?
Chart looks interesting, John. I mean, we do have an uptrend, and I want to say that uptrend's for since June of last year.
Really?
We're approaching a year, yeah. Now, granted, we could have been on the expert market. They were playing around with it. I don't know when it came off the expert market, but November 29th, it looks like it's when it hit the high of 0011. And then, of course, it's calmed down, but it's still in this trend. Kind of picket fencing right now. I don't like that, but it's going to consolidate and hold there. There could be more to come, but the share structure is awful. It's not that great.
No, it looks like they may have been. If you look at your chart there on the long chart on the 4 hour, you
Yeah.
will see two big long bald spots on the 4 hour, real
Mhm.
flat.
Yep.
You've got one back there in July, and then you've got
Mhm.
another one over there in September. Just
Yep.
nothing,
Nothing.
absolutely nothing. So that she may have been off the market twice, got back on back then.
Maybe.
And as I said, that filing came out a couple months ago. So things could be turning around right now, but it's all guesswork. That's all
It
speculation.
is.
And you shouldn't be speculating with your money, not in this sort of market. You need things that are a little more assured. You want something that you feel confident with. You don't want to lose any more money. Am I
And
right?
this,
You don't
you're
want
right.
to lose any more money.
And this one is in the 000. So you need to make sure something is going on with this one for sure. You need to check into the management if it's switched over or have new people, new players. You need to see if you like them. What have they done in the past? You need to do a lot of research on this before you decide to jump into that.
Well, looks like there's two stocks left here because I did Bill's EEGI. I didn't get to his XELA because I'm going to go underneath here and get a hold of TRKA. Now, I do know XLLA.
I fell.
Every day I pull up my scans from 001 to $3. And every day it's up there at the very top. That thing has got volume every single day it is pushing. And I don't ever see any news for it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm watching it hard. It probably has something going on. But if you're going to watch a stock, you do want liquidity, like the SPY. It goes all over the place, but it's the liquidity that makes it attractive. So whatever it is, that stock could be one to watch.
There's been a lot of talk and chatter with that one before, so it can heat up.
As there?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at that last stock, TRKA. I'm going to take the screen away from you now.
Go ahead.
I still know how to do it. All right, and let's get the ticker typed in here right. TRKA. I've never heard of this one, I don't think. Troika Media. No, it's on the NASDAQ. Penny stock, under $1, 20.5 cents. Had a wee bit of drop today, not a whole lot. Let's see what we got here. This
looks like it IPO'd in April of 21.
Oh, did it? Oh,
just
21.
Know.
Okay. Yep. Let's just see. Blue Torch Finance entered in a further limited waiver of events. No, not anything we're interested in at this very moment. We got a couple 8Ks here. Actually seeing if they're in any trouble. Nope, that's working with Blue Torch, whoever the heck Blue Torch is. The 29th.
Isn't that one that everybody, like, it converted and it changed its ticker? I've heard of Blue Torch before. I'm sure that's one of those. Yeah, I think that.
See, I know HNRC used to be called Torch. So they may have,
Okay, well, maybe I'm getting it confused.
All right, I'm not seeing anything here that says that they are in trouble. Other events. No, there's a lot going on here with this Blue Torch. Limited waiver. Lots and lots of information there. And the last one I'm going to look at here, just because I'm thinking, there you go. I just had this feeling. So they are in notice right now. Let's see if we got a date. 180 days, November, minimum bid price in November. They have until May 15th, right there. See, you see how short these are, folks. So there's no excuse for not jumping into filings. There's no reason for them to scare you. There's not enough words there to intimidate anybody. So right there, until May 15th, 2023. If they don't get their price up, they're off the major exchange, and it'll be half that price when it gets down to the OTC. Share structure. Okay, it's under 67 million. Not a bad float, whatever it may be. Financials for this company. Well, they're holding their head up high. Look at that. What a jump. Wow, all this time, 10, 24, 16 million. 2022, by June, better. 116 million. Now, they did give up 88 million, but still, they're generating a heck of a lot more revenue, meaning they're doing something right. Probably not fair to have the price down this low. Let's see about the annuals. They're getting stronger. Look at this. 15 to 85 to 119. Now, that annual took us up to this point right here. Since then, they've made an additional $119 million.
That's impressive.
Kicking butt. They are kicking butt. I want to take a quick look at their balance sheet here. Total assets right here, 205 million. Total liabilities, 192. All right.
I know, but still out a little bit. You know, you want to get more comfortable there.
Disclosures, we've already been through all those. So the news, that was the last thing we needed to look at. Come on, puppy. Reports Q3 results, record revenues. So that's what we've got here is record revenues, but we don't know what they do. We don't know who they're doing it with. Is it one contract that they're dependent on, or do they have lots of contracts that they're just getting more of? All these things matter for the long haul. And I see they do have a warrant, always worthy of considering the warrant. If you're looking at a stock, the warrant could be getting a 200% gain while the stock's getting 18% gains. But they're different plays. They are not the same sort of play. All right, let's take a look at that chart then for TRKA.
It's been a nice uptrend since I think about October of last year. Maybe December. Yep, December of last year. So 0.09 was the low. Very nice uptrend. So even though it's gotten that notice, maybe you've got people out there, maybe they're following the management, the company, newsletters, whatever it may be. Maybe they're anticipating that they will regain that dollar to stay listed on the NASDAQ. Not sure, but it still looks good. It looks healthy. The volume's pretty good on it every day. Oops.
Yeah, the volume is there. That's a good thing.
So, I mean, I like this one. I would try to wait for it to breathe, to dip back down a little bit to pick me up. But you can always have a plan, or you could leg in if you like this play. But you always have to be careful when it's sitting at 20 cents, which is where it's at. You have to know they could reverse split. You have to know that they could be delisted if they don't hit this price target. What was it, by June, John?
May.
Okay, so you have to know these things and anticipate that and be aware of it and make a good plan for it. And back to you, John.
All right. The last thing I want to show you is basically I just want to pick up where
I did it for you.
Was at. Get back there. That actual same chart. I wanted to show you folks that this works. This channel is going uphill. It could be going downhill. What I'm going to tell you works either way. When you see a price locked in a channel, the more it respects that channel, the more often you see it bouncing inside those lines and not going outside. Those are assured trades. When it hits the top up here, this is a buy-in point. And this, even when it's coming down, the price is falling. You can buy it up at the top, or, you buy it down on the low and sell it up on the top. Every bounce, if it is sticking inside that channel, you've seen it bounce 15 times. Well, the next time it's down on the bottom, pick yourself some up. Wait for it to go back up to the top of the line and sell. Wait for it to come back down because it just keeps doing that. These channels are opportunities to do multiple plays and get a little bit off of each one of them rather than waiting for that big breakout run. There's lots of gains to be made waiting for the big one.
That's true. And there's several ways to play patterns like that. Kind of a rinse and repeat thing. You can always buy in at the bottom channel. You could sell half. You could buy back in when it comes back down to the bottom channel. This way, if it does break out, you still have skin in the game. Right. See, and when you talk to 10 different people, you get 10 different ideas. That's right.
You still got your own idea. You're a rich man now. You got 11 ideas, and you only had to work for one of them.
Well, that's the thing. We all have our ways of doing things and what we like, and you have to figure that out for yourself. So I just hope that me and John help you guys. That's what we want to do.
We do appreciate you coming. We like sharing information with you off the top of our heads, and we like you bringing your tickers. You're showing stocks to us that we're not looking at. But remember, folks, look at stocks that make you feel good. If you don't see anything in them, don't expect me to find anything in them. You probably can see a worthless stock as well as I can. Just saying.
But not only that, the opposite is true, John. Just one more little tidbit before we go. The opposite is true. You have somebody saying, hey, it's going to go. It's amazing. I can't believe I got it. I got all these shares. They're getting you all hyped up. So you go look at it and you're sitting there like, what? What are they seeing? I don't see it. Don't play it. If you don't have the warm and fuzzies about it, don't play it.
Right, the warm and
Never
fuzzies.
know.
You should have some warm and fuzzies.
You guys
Hopefully,
have a
we'll
good
bring you
one.
some more warm and fuzzies next week. Same place, same time, Thursdays, 4 o'clock, with hopefully the same people. And you too. We're looking for you. See you, folks.
Bye, guys.